just had the pleasure of sitting down with Ruth Baker, who has over 25 years' experience as an environmental health officer with local authorities and businesses. She's worked as the primary authority officer for national companies and runs Simply Safer, providing food, hygiene, advice and training. Ruth has created a brilliant game, Simply Safer, the food safety board game. We talk about it in the podcast and it's fantastic. She's also got a PGCE in teaching, and I think that combination of her wealth of experience and her passion for imparting and sharing that experience with the people around her in relation to food safety is really present. And so I had a great conversation. I hope you enjoy it too. Ruth, hello. Thanks for coming down. Right. Having just rated my coffee, my cold brew coffee.
First cold brew coffee.
Yeah, it's not my best. But and I did feel, I said downstairs, when you came in, I was like, oh God, I've got to wipe the surfaces down for this one. But tell me about you. Like, start off with just like...
Start from the beginning.
Well, just like, who are you in terms of your sort of experience with environmental health and food safety?
Right. So originally, fundamentally, in the core of me is an environmental health officer. Do we assume everyone knows what they are? Environmental health officers?
No, I think we should probably explain that one.
So I do food safety, but environmental health as a whole includes food safety, health and safety, pollution and housing. So when I did my degree, you covered all of those subjects, not just food. So a lot of people just think you become a food officer. You can just be a food officer, but then technically you're not an environmental health officer unless you've done that degree that covers all of it. So it's about public health. So the whole of anything that could affect your health in the environment is what environmental health does, not just food safety.
Brilliant. But that's where you've got...
That's where I am, because bacteria are predictable, I suppose. As in, like, you learn what bacteria do and then you make sure you know what to do to make sure it's safe. And that's in a food safety point of view, but I now do food safety for businesses. I do their food safety manual, training and audit them.
Brilliant.
For a range of businesses. So
this podcast, this conversation, what I'm interested in is AI, robotics, and human connection. Like that's the kind of where I'm kind of pursuing my interest and my curiosity at the moment. And like when I was thinking about like having a conversation with you today, and just the checklists, the regulation, the control measures, everything, all the kind of the systems that are in place to ensure that we have high food safety standards and hygiene standards that I want to hear about today. But then, like, there's something about making food for someone else, and there's like a real intimacy to that, like producing and sharing, and it brings it brings cultures and families and friends and everyone together, and it's like the heart of a lot of relationships and communities. And so I think like the connection where those things rub up against each other is really interesting, or dovetailing with each other, I guess. So what do you get involved in both sides of that?
What, in the food bit?
Like, in the service side of it. And so are you focused on the health and safety side, but do you also involve yourself with
the food? Primarily I'm there. Businesses get me in to make sure it's safe. But as a result, I do work with a lot of chefs. I still do a few enforcement inspections for council. And I went to a pub and I was talking to them and they said, "Are you a chef?" And I was like, no, but I talk to a lot of chefs. So I think what I do now, I talk to a lot of chefs. But you're right, food is, everyone's got to eat, haven't they? You can't, well, it's going to go, you can't not eat. But I suppose, what with the fat jab and all.
Oh, right. Is
Is
that a replacement now?
For eating, yeah. People don't need to eat so much. But everybody does need to eat. I think chefs are we're all different, aren't we? And chefs you end up where you end up because you are who you are. And chefs are, from my experience, and I'm not saying it's typical, when I come along with my paperwork, they hate paperwork. They're not a fan of the paperwork, because if you think about it, if you should naturally end up where you're happy, and they're like, there's a butcher I work with, and she goes, I use these, and she uses her hands. She goes, and that's what she does, because she's always done that. And then they think there's that. People think I'm not saying they do, but people think, well, I can't spell, so I must be there's back with a certain generation. I know it's different now. You're allowed to not spell, and you're allowed to not, because hopefully, I'm really hoping that kids are taught to learn who they are, because intelligence comes in lots of different formats, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And your strength is in the kitchen. Again, I was talking to one chef. Hopefully, he's going to come on our podcast. He does the food for BAFTAs, and they got, I don't know how many meals it was. Let's say it was 1,000 meals plated and served in 22 minutes. Now that's logistics. That's not food, is it? Do you know what I mean? But that's his brain. So him and his team, or that business, it's not just cooking a meal and serving it. It's prepping it. Do you know there's so much in that?
That's a well-oiled machine.
Yes.
If you can, and that must take years of practice.
It's a well-established business, yeah.
Yeah. Well, there's what's the thing? Jamie Oliver was on a podcast or something. Whatever. I saw a short of it.
Yeah.
And he was talking about how at the age of, when he was about 35, he was almost read his first book, and talking about his dyslexia and the fact that he just doesn't read. He can't, and he's like, I can read, a recipe.
Yeah.
I just don't read for fun. It's not something I engage in. And there's a real sense that, you could see that he perhaps wouldn't go seeking paperwork. So then, so then, before we get into it, let's go with this.
Yeah.
So how do you deal with that then, with people?
Well, I'm quite similar to them.
Okay.
I think, because I'm not a natural writer or reader, really. I do read books and I do read stories, and I think that's because I had a mother who made sure she found the books that I could read. Does that make sense? So I would. I think, again, in I don't know if this is relevant to the conversation, but I think in my...
It's all relevant.
Good. In what I do, you've got environmental health officers, and some of them are very academic, and they're very by the book, and they're like, these are the rules, and I think you should be doing this. And then you've got the chefs, and sometimes the chefs and the environmental health, they're talking two different languages. Genuinely, you can see the lack of understanding on both sides. So, and I've said this before, I feel like I translate between the chefs and the environmental health. It's like, you're not making any sense because you're putting it in words to make yourself sound clever because you want to. And the chefs are like, well, that's not going to work in my kitchen. You can't do it like that. So it's finding that, right, with the chefs. They go, can we do this? And you go, you tell me what you want to do, and I'll make sure you can do it in the safest way. And if I don't think you can do it, then I'll say you can't do it. Whereas environmental health, sometimes they're like, they don't see the practicalities. So they're not practical.
Can we get into the specifics here a little bit? Because, what is it? What are the things that chefs? What are the things they're rubbing up on? Because in my ignorance, my naivety.
Well, you don't need to know, yeah.
Yeah, they're like, well, they're just. It seems simple,
with simple food. No, not simple food. That sounds regular cook serve places. But when you're talking proper chefs, what I call them, like chefs in independent,
a la carte.
Yeah, chefs that know food. They're not. And this is no disrespect to maybe
Wetherspoons.
There's a time and a place. There's a time and a place for everything. But yes, if you're in and you go, can we make kimchi? Like kimchi, can we make kimchi? This is a good example, okay? Can we make kimchi? And I'm like, tell me how you make it. And I'll go away and research it. Do you know, kimchi is based...
I don't know what kimchi is.
It's a Korean... It's cabbage, basically. It's fermented cabbage.
Oh.
So all the fermented food is good for you right now.
Is that a bacterial nightmare?
Well, this is the thing. If I was still an enforcement officer, I'd go in and I'd go, oh, what's kimchi? And they'd go, it's a fermented. And we hear the word fermented, which means bacteria have multiplied. So how the hell is that safe? Now, really, the chef should go, well, it's the fermentation, if there are any microbiologists listening. But I know it's lactobacillus, so the friendly bacteria. So they multiply, and as they multiply, they make the food acidic. So once the acidity of that food gets so, like the pH gets low, then no bacteria, well, not no bacteria, but any harmful bacteria then can't multiply because it's too acidic. So it's about letting this cabbage ferment and letting the bacteria do their work to produce the acid to make a safe product. Okay? Now, the quickest way to let those bacteria to multiply is to have it at room temperature. And I went to a conference and there was a man from the International Institute of Kimchi from Korea there.
I bet
I was overexcited when I was overexcited when I said, there's an actual institute for kimchi. Anyway, so I did catch him and I said, because there's this one environmental health officer and she makes them put their kimchi in the fridge and she will only let them have it for 5 days. And I said to him, because basically after I watched his little, what's it called, speech lecture, whatever it is, workshop, I realised that actually leaving it at room temperature and at 5 days, that's when the most acid has been produced, so that's the safest. So after that point, it's safer. Whereas this environmental health officer is going, you've got to keep it in the fridge and you can only give it a shelf life of 5 days. So you've got the chefs who rely on, that's quite a what's the word? Not historic, but what's that? Cultural. So it's a cultural thing. Like, if you look at, I would love to write a book on the history of food and the different nationalities, because we all travel now. So things like charcuterie in this country is not natural to this country because it's not natural to our weather. Well, maybe soon. Because you need hot countries, don't you, to dry it out? Whereas we're a damp country, so it's different. So we go around the world, and so chefs are interested in food and they learn about food, but they don't things are safe. Like I make pickled cabbage every year. What EHO's going? How is that pickle safe for 4 weeks? It's like it's pickle, it's vinegar. Do you know it's historic? Really, and then you've got your EHOs who can't apply their factual knowledge to the practical.
So this is like, I spent a bit of time myself working as a technical advisor for climbing centres on health and safety.
Yeah.
And it's not something I do too much of anymore. I'm certainly not in the ring with it anymore, so I'm probably out of date. But it was the skill fade for me with it was huge. If I wasn't practicing and going into climbing centres and having those conversations and doing the research and keeping up with the CPD, like I just wasn't confident in my ability to advise. But there's a pressure when I go into somewhere and they say, and you ask, oh, what's the answer? How do we make this happen? Or to give them an answer. And sometimes maybe for myself, or if we're not sure on the answer, you just err on the side of caution. And so, but you don't want that. You want someone who knows exactly and that's why they pay for professionals like yourself to go in there.
Or somebody brave enough to go, do you know what, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'll go away and find out.
And that takes time and research. And to go to a conference where you meet the kimchi. Like,
true. True.
It's, if it gets quite niche like that, I guess. So that kind of clears up my ignorance then, which is that surely we've got the rule book, but actually, if we're constantly experimenting and learning new things,
which good chefs will with their which we should. I always used to worry, maybe not now, that everything becomes bland, doesn't it? Which could link into your AI top conversation, couldn't it? If we went AI food, we wouldn't have variety, would we?
No, I don't know. Yeah, maybe. I reckon I could still make a case that it would become more experimental. We could try because where people might. I don't know. Maybe. maybe. How did you how did you get into? Because when I talk with you about this over the years, you are, if I may say so, quite crazily enthusiastic about this.
Do you think?
Yeah, like beautifully. And I think and it's like you seem to be like really enthusiastic about the conversation. You're passionate about. Like, what attracted you to this as a
Environmental health.
like?
It's simple.
What is your motivation?
My mother. Oh, what? My motivation?
Well,
now?
no. Sorry, I chucked it in the last minute.
I failed my I was going to be a physiotherapist, but I failed my A levels really well. I failed them really well.
Good for you.
As in what did I get? An N.
What does that even mean?
Can I swear?
You can say whatever you like.
Fuck off with your N. Nearly did it. That's basically what the N stands for. A near miss. And then a U was ungraded. That was much better.
What does N stand for?
Near miss. Nearly, sweetheart. Go on.
Sweetheart. Patronising.
So I got an E in maths, an N in biology, and a U in chemistry. Anyway, it turns out I didn't read. Again, this comes back to reading and writing, doesn't it? Turns out you have to answer those exam questions the way they want you to answer the question. Do you know what I mean? If they ask you a question, what is photosynthesis? I'd be like, oh, well, it's turning energy turning the sun to energy. They wanted more. More. Because I thought, well, because you're marking the paper. So, of course, surely you can see I've got anyway. So I then spent the next year. So I was going to be a physiotherapist. I then spent the next year passing them spectacularly. I then got an A and a B. I resat the maths and got a D in November, but I took a whole year for the other two. Got an A and a B. So it's all about how to answer the questions. Literally, all I did that year was practice answering questions so that I knew how to answer it. So that was, and in that time, at that point, my mother was the lab technician on the university degree at Bristol for environmental health. And she said she knew I couldn't have a sit-down job. She knew that was not possible. So hence the physiotherapy. And she also knew I cared about people and I cared about the environment because, the whole global warming. So I was 18. This was 30, 40, not quite 40 years. Good 30 years ago anyway. And Bristol was this is randomly off track, but Bristol was going to have a tram. I'm like, of course Bristol needs a tram. What's happened 30 years later? Bristol's just rammed up with cars, isn't it? Anyway, I cared about the environment there, global warming, greenhouse effect. So it's not new news, is it? The whole global warming. It's been about a long, long time.
I think we've been tracking it for a while.
Anyway, so she said, why don't you do environmental health? And I think it was the housing, like people living in poor housing that attracted. I didn't think I was going to end up doing food safety and health and safety because I cared about how people should be looked after, shouldn't they, if they need it? I'm not sure what I think about it now. But anyway, ended up doing food. Once I qualified, I did health and safety to begin with and then moved into food. And I'm quite happy with food safety.
Do you find that through your experience then of having that experience through college and having to answer questions in a certain way, that your job now is to inspect, but to train and educate people and to verify that they understand what's going on. So, what have you learned about teaching people in ways that help them genuinely understand it?
I think the people I train, and that's why I think my brain is similar to theirs. I'm not a natural, I've always, exams and things, I'm just average. Do you know what I mean? I've had to work hard at it. So I think I have got that different brain that chefs and things have. So I know they learn by stories. They learn by actually doing stuff. So now, I used to do PowerPoints and I got bored of them. I do get bored real quick.
Can I just say at the moment, I've got an image of you sat with a book reading a story to a load of chefs. No,
I don't read the stories from them. They're my real stories.
Don't take it away from me.
What, like Jack Norrie stories?
I don't, if you like.
But
what's on the breadcrumbs?
And to there's some people turn up for my training and you can see they have got educational trauma. I've had one woman just get up and walk out because she didn't want to do the test. She hadn't been prepared for the test. So she just went, I can't do this, and walked out. Because so I almost make it my challenge that they enjoy the training. I will make sure they enjoy it. I don't know how I do, but quite often they will go, really enjoyed that training. I was dreading it. Because I make it more it's not like school where they got to sit and listen. And I can also see when people get bored, and I'm like, oh.
Yeah, I've been doing some safeguarding training over the last few years, and safeguarding training for me, from my experience over the years of working with children and in safeguarding, has been, it's like no one's looking forward to safeguarding training.
No.
Because it's just dark and boring, and it's like this. And as I got into the training side of it, like, cool, I'm not going to use PowerPoint. I'm going to make this interactive. We're going to literally like dance around with each other and learn in a fun way. And I've had people leaving safeguarding training saying that they had fun.
Yeah.
So, okay. And so we can do it. And
it does take more effort.
It really does. And
perhaps confidence in your knowledge, because if you stick a PowerPoint is like stabilizers, isn't it?
Go on.
Well, that's if you use a PowerPoint, you know that, well, I've showed you all the slides, so I've taught you.
Yeah.
Whereas if you go off, you can only guide people to learn, but be there ready for them if they've got questions. So if you go off the PowerPoint, you know what questions might come. Oh, sorry, if you're on the PowerPoint, you know what questions might come. If you go off, you've got to be confident enough either to go, that's a really interesting question, I don't know, I'm going to find out. Or you can go, this is why. Like, I've got a couple of food safety murder mysteries. They love that. They love it.
No. Did you poison someone?
Yeah, basically. Basically, somebody dies of food poisoning and somebody dies of an allergy. And they've got to work out why it happened. And they much prefer that. And I'm hoping as a result, and then we talk about the root cause of it, so you can go, well, why did it happen? Well, and it's always basically poor management.
Right, okay.
Which
so
is...
anyone who's got any sort of training or assessment review in the future, poor management.
No, well, or if anyone has a food poison outbreak, it's not one member of staff that causes it, is it? It's an overall poor food safety culture.
And so that, when in any safety system, the culture is so huge. So then, and how do you shape that then? Because it's the same with safeguarding. It's a cultural thing.
Yeah, all of it.
And so, do you get involved in the culture? So, because that's an ongoing relationship I've found. Do you have ongoing relationships? Do people bring you as a one-off? Like, what do you prefer with that?
Most of the people I work with on a regular basis. So, they only pay me for food safety, but I do feel quite, is it a privilege? But I see a lot. What I've learnt is I go to a lot of places and see a lot of things, and a lot of people stay in one place and only see one thing. You know, the like whole silo thing. And
when you say a lot of places, you mean like different
like just
types
humans just because that's the way we all, like, for example, I could have just qualified, gone to work for one council, and I'm only ever know. You know, I can't think of a count. In my murder mystery is Bakerfields Council. Bakerfields Council, if I'd only worked there, then that's the only way I know how to do it. Whereas if you go to a few, you can learn the good. You go, oh, this is a much better way of doing it. Or, oh, well, we did it that way and it didn't work out for this reason. So by me moving around, I do see a lot of places, and I see a lot of cultures, and I see a lot of individuals.
There's a ghost in the house.
We were talking about culture, weren't we? So my job's not to do culture, but I have just recently there's one place I work with, and I'm going to keep having the same problems with food safety unless they sort their culture out. Actually, let's use one that I'm not working with anymore. Every time, so they were a 0, food hygiene rating 0.
Does that exist?
Yeah,
I suppose of course it does.
Yeah.
Well, that means you're not open to the public.
No, you can be open to the public.
No.
Yeah, it's not.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
Well,
How bad do you have to be to get 0? Surely that's like what does 0 look like? You're holding back.
sometimes 0 is not as bad as you think it is, and sometimes 0 is the perception of the person giving them the 0. And do you know what I mean? I've seen 0s where I'm like, you're not a 0. You're not a 0, and I'm offended for you that you've been given that 0, because it's not a lack of your understanding, it's a lack of the person asking the questions understanding. But anyway, that's another one entirely. But
that leans into why chefs might have an issue with EHO officers if there's an inconsistency in their skill to be able to assess.
There's a massive inconsistency, so much so I just now. Well, maybe we'll come on to it when we talk about AI writing policies, because I'm like, people ask me their opinion, I go, it really depends on who turns up. It really depends on who turns up and what they're looking for, which is wrong, because I'm like, I don't know. I mean, I can write you a worst case scenario policy and then we know you're going to tick all the boxes. But then they might turn up with a 3-page document and they go, oh, yeah, that'll do. It's because of the human element. So going back to this other, we were talking, again, culture, he got up to a 5 with a manager. This manager was really good, really engaged. I don't know what happened. The relationship broke down. He left. The 5 went down. Then they got a new chef or a new manager. And I can see them now. I can see people should just get me to interview their chefs. Again, there was a hotel recently. I thought, oh, no. Oh, anyway, they didn't get a bad score. He was gone before. But you can just see them. And so but the culture comes from the top always without any, whether it's health and safety, just pure business culture. And you can see it. You can see the ones that, because they keep the staff. You're not constantly. So anyway, recently there's one, he's just gone through chefs like drinking water, and you're like, have you ever thought about, a coach?
Finding another job.
A coach. So he was then asking me questions that I couldn't answer. So I am going to introduce them to, because it's just a cultural issue sometimes. If you get the business culture right, everything else falls in place.
So really, what separates a 1, a 4, or 5, it always comes back to the culture, the management lead. But a 1, I always kind of thought a 1 was the lowest, and then if I see a 1, so it says on your website, I think, that if you have a food rating standard that's like down a number, you'll lose a customer a day or something like that.
Yeah.
And maybe that's not like the actual stat. I will certainly, if I walk up to a place and see that it's got a 3-star food rating, there's a good chance I'll just keep walking.
See, a 3 is just broadly compliant, so they're okay.
Yeah,
I
don't want that.
Broadly compliant.
I want shiny surfaces, please.
I think some people would be shocked what it could look like to get a 5. They'd be like, I can't believe this is a 5. It should be better. But there's the legal compliance is okay.
I'm just going to say this, which goes out on the internet. Boulder Shack, which is one of my businesses, we have a 5-star food rating. And we are, I mean, I love everyone at Boulder Shack, but we're as an industry, it's dirtbag climbers doing their thing, but we've somehow it's just follow the rule book, right?
Yeah.
And it's a management thing, it's a cultural thing. But as an environment, it's a highly dusty, very sort of.
But your menu is really simple. You're not making kimchi. You're not
I don't
making
think we
pink
have this.
burgers.
No,
But you
it's
know what? But from a
wonderful.
food safety point of
We
view.
do toasties like nobody else. Thank you very much.
But yeah, it's just cheese and toast, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's not. You're not curing your own ham or cooking your own ham or.
No, we were kneading pizzas for a while.
Again, though, it's only bread, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right.
All right.
I feel that we need AI questions. We've not
We
AI'd
do.
yet.
So talk to me about, well, just like, so in terms of the paperwork side of things, so for me, I am at the point now with my work where HR, health and safety, anything that is like insurance, anything that is compliance related, I just get AI to do it because it is phenomenally quicker. I'm not very good at doing that sort of stuff. I can, but I find it incredibly laborious. And so, and I've found that it produces really good stuff. Even in safeguarding, I'm delivering safeguarding training, and I advocate for it. It needs human oversight.
It does need, yeah.
But what have you seen a change in the way that that's affected in food safety, and like just using AI just for like ESIP? What's the HACCP? Yeah, I did
Yeah.
read. Yeah, HACCP.
HACCP.
So that's like what does HACCP stand for?
Hazard Analysis Critical Control Point. Now, that's a perfect example of smart people making something very simple, very complicated. The NASA people invented that or devised it. When they went to space, they were like, oh, you don't want an astronaut with food poisoning, do you?
Right.
So they made Hazard Analysis Critical Control Point, and then the World Health Organization related to it. And the conference I went to, and I will be going again, I love it because it's like really educational, but it's all these really clever scientist people, and like it's really interesting. And then I think of Ken's Kebabs, who I work with, and the link between these people and these people. And it's like, it's great you got all this science going on, but these people here, we just need to. I'm not saying that Ken's Kebabs don't wash their. I'm not saying that Ken's aren't washing their hands, but sometimes, not them, but sometimes we just want them to wash their. Do you know what I mean? But anyway, HACCP, yes, people have been using AI for HACCP, and somebody recently got a visit, and they don't use me regularly, and things have changed, and so if I'm there.
When you say they got a visit, was it you visiting?
No.
Okay.
It was an official visit.
Oh.
It was like, it was.
Anyway,
It was an enforcement. It was
okay.
just a regular visit from the enforcement people, and they said, "Oh, the HACCP's inconsistent." So the man who worked there. He got the report, and he got the report he was given, and he took the HACCP and he put it in AI, and then he sent it to me and go, "Can you just review this and make sure that it's correct?" And I looked at it. It looked really smart. I thought, oh, they've paid someone else to do their HACCP because this looks really smart. And then I started reading it, and I thought, I can't make sense of this. And I know sometimes, like, I've got a way of writing a HACCP, and when I see somebody else's, I'm like, oh, well, this is wrong. And then it's like, no, it's not wrong. It just looks different. But this one, I was like, well, who's written it? Where's it come from? And then I was like, AI's written this. And I went, has AI done this? And he went, yeah. And he explained what he did. And I said, I can't. I need to see what you've completely, it looks different now. Basically, I refused to look at it because it was like, it's going to take me longer to learn how AI has rewritten it. Also, AI had put in, this should comply, this should close out non-conformance, blah, blah, blah. So they'd not taken that out, the bit that you would just, you'd go add that in, like in your own head.
In it.
Yeah, in your own head, you'd go, right, I've done that now. You wouldn't then put in brackets, oh, I've closed that out now, would you?
Right, okay, yeah, okay.
So it was like...
I suppose when...
still needs a human.
Writing a risk assessment, okay, so I've definitely used AI to write risk assessments. But let's say, as a technical advisor, I am asked to write the risk assessment for someone. I will, if someone asks me to and they really need me to, maybe I will. I'll definitely try not to, because I want them to write the risk assessment. I want them to think about what the risks and the hazards are and the mitigation measures. I want them to really consider what it is that they're prepared to do to mitigate that risk, and how they're going to live with that decision, and how they're going to manage their team in doing that. And so, yeah, you could chuck it into AI and say, write this risk assessment, and it'll probably do an amazing job. But it's do we really understand? Is that what we're prepared to live by? Because the risk assessment isn't you can write a risk assessment. There's a risk, there's a hazard here. How do we mitigate it? Fine. But what are we prepared to do as a company to genuinely live by that? And that is where the human needs to be involved, I think.
Yes. So I get that, where I write a food safety management system for someone, and then I know that nobody reads it, because when I go back and look at it, because you know how you go, oh, well, I've worked with the butchers before, I'll take the butchers one I've done before and I'll convert that. And I read it and I see all of the spelling mistakes and all the bits that don't make sense. And you think, well, nobody's read that then, have they? So you're right, they've not invested in it. So it's like when people... And also I've sat there and they go, well, it's your HACCP. It's like, no, it's not my HACCP. You've asked me to write it and I've written it according to what you've told me, but it's your HACCP. So it's the same thing. I think. But if I said, right, they're paying me to do it, but I will always make sure I reflect what they do, or I'll go, there'll be a conversation. But yeah, you're right. If they just go, if they missed me out altogether. Like the other day, somebody's written this 3-page HACCP, and they went, do you think this is good enough? And you look at it and you think, well, yeah. But and I was thinking about it, because I'm a crap salesperson, because basically I should have gone, no, it's rubbish, I'll write one for you. But I went, well, it might be okay. It depends send it to the council and see what they say. And they might get away with it. And then I thought, well, actually, it's not about getting away with it, is it? It's like, if something goes wrong, would it defend them in court? And probably it wouldn't. Could you use this? Because this is what your written paperwork is, your due diligence, isn't it? We did everything possible to avoid this happening. Look, this is our systems. We've looked at because HACCP's just like a risk assessment, but for food. So we've looked at what could go wrong. These are what we've done about it. Here's our records for it. We did everything possible. And they go, okay, yeah, you did. So if you've got AI to do that, and then that's it, it stayed on a shelf, it's not worth doing, is it?
Yeah. You got to be bought into it to make it a part of the culture. All right, moving on a little bit, because but what about the use of technology over time, and this is where we start kind of moving into how we start producing food. I was trying to think what technology do we use in the cafe at Boulder Shack, and I suppose over time the dishwasher, it's a robot in a sense, and so we're kind of used to having machines around us and doing work for us. And little things like fridge temperature checks, we used to have to go and manually walk around and check them. And I think we haven't done it yet, but we're looking at maybe putting digital sensors in all the fridges and freezers, and it'll come back to an app.
Yeah.
And instead of having to walk around and check the temperatures twice a day, it's just there in the app, and it'll notify us if something's going wrong.
Yeah.
And so we'll be quicker.
Yeah.
Will also help us mitigate any food waste, and so we're using technology where we can. But are there any have you seen any technological is technology being used more?
There's a Chinese man I work with in Wales. He does noodles. So he's opening noodle bars, but he can't get staff. So he's opened one and, he can't get anyone to work in it. And so he's looking at all of the ways that he can get food with, less people. So he's got production, like all of the big chains have production units, don't they? So he's got this production kitchen. But what he showed me last time I saw him is he wants to make the packets of sauce. So he'd make them in his central production kitchen, like the sauce. And it goes in this machine, and I don't know the flour goes in. So this machine was like a vending machine. You pick your flavour, which is the little packets that he's pre-made, so it's kept in a fridge. And then you pick your flavour, and then the noodles are made fresh. The noodles are made. You get the sauce that goes into a microwave, I assume, to reheat, and then you get a bowl of noodles and sauce, all from like a vending machine. It's like those pizzas ones, which came and went. Did you ever have a pizza from the?
No, I saw them. Yeah. So I was reading about a study that was done on this, which was, who was it? I've got it written down here. So it was a study that was, in all my paperwork, I can't
That's
find it.
a lot of paper.
I
It's
know.
a lot of research.
Bloody AI, wasn't it? I didn't actually write it myself. But there was, okay. So it was like some MIT graduates got together. They did like a study. Anyway, they did they did a few experiments where they were testing how people responded to knowing that food was produced by robots. Okay. And so they did it with some burgers, they did it with a salad, they did it with pizza, various things, and they went about it in different ways. And what they were showing them was letting them see that it was being made by robots, or telling them. So a lot of it was actually not actually doing it, but just telling people. They didn't actually, in all cases, actually see what was going on. It was just the knowledge that it was being produced by robots. So they would serve up 2 burgers, and they'd say this one was produced by a robot, this one was produced by a human.
Yeah.
And picking up, and they had like 500 participants in the study, so it was a reasonable study. Overwhelmingly, what came back from the study was that in every case, what they were finding is people wanted the love and care of a human making their food. And as soon as they knew it was a robot that made it, they lost the love in it. And they would always rather have the human, like overwhelmingly, not always, but like overwhelmingly. But interestingly, there was they noted it was like they had disgust from people, the emotion of disgust when they knew it was a robot. Not disgust from like a food hygiene sense, but a moral disgust. That they were like, how dare you make me food made by a robot? It should be made by a human. It was,
But food is an expression of love, isn't it? Your child's ill, you go, what do you want to eat? What do you fancy? What will make you feel better?
It is, but in the instances where people didn't know, it made no difference. So let's assume the baseline is that they have a standard amount of love and approval for the food, and if they're served up food, it doesn't matter. They don't ask the question. They're not told. They just presume that it's all fine. It's only when they're told that it's made by a robot that then they lose that love. So the actual food itself, it's exactly the same. So why does it matter?
Because do you not think, this is me just thinking now, because food, if you think of cavemen, coming back with a buffalo meant so much to the cave people, because they've gone out there, they've stood in the hot sun or whatever they did, and they've ran and they've stabbed it and they've killed it and they've brought it home. And then there was a celebration. Do you know what I mean? Food is linked with so many celebrations and so many
Oh, food is...
And so
When I-
like look at my great, like back in Victorian days, the rich people were fat because they ate so much food because it was a sign of their wealth, and the connection with maybe your ego and food, or I don't.
There's a it can make someone's day when if you go to a coffee shop and someone serves you a cup of coffee and they're genuinely happy and they smile and they wish you a good day, and you have like and you have a little moment of conversation, it can just give you a little bit of joy and lighten your day up.
Yeah.
And so but then I was thinking about that earlier and how valuable that is, and I love those little interactions. But also, like, I'm not a fan of queuing.
No.
And so if I get to queue 50% less and I maybe have to, I don't know, like, what, and...
Yeah, because I will happy go to the you're happy go to self-service rather than have to talk to somebody. But
that one's different because it's not, yeah. Well, that one, I'm not sure.
Don't you
that.
like that?
I do and I don't. I sometimes find it a bit awkward.
What, the self-service?
No, when it's like at a checkout and I have to just kind of stand there while someone else is doing work for me. I find it a bit, because I'm not very good at making small talk with people. I want to get like, deep and philosophical. And like, cashiers don't always want to do that at like 3 p.m. on a Tuesday afternoon.
My favourite cashier was Dot at Sainsbury's. She'd let me unpack my shopping in all the right order. She'd let me unpack it and then pack it my way. Which is why I like self-service, because I can do it my way.
Yeah. But but this what that experiment showed with that the MIT guys did, it showed that if you knew it was produced by robots, that you had less love, and it was the emotions around it just kind of fell through the floor. But think of Domino's, right? Who are, you walk into Domino's and they've got 10 people all around the room making up these pizzas that are going. Now, we probably could have machines doing that, and it would probably be quicker and easier, and would mean that your pizza gets to you at home quicker. It'd be more consistent. That was one of the things that came up in the study, that actually people were saying that they liked the inconsistencies. So like the imperfections in things, in their pizzas, apparently. But I just think, like, is it a cultural thing? Like, are we, like, I remember walking down the street years ago, talking on my phone for the first time in 2000. It would have been, about the year 2000. Yeah. And feeling really awkward that I was doing this thing. And very quickly it became, like, we adjusted to that way of life. And, like, we have very quickly become accustomed to using vending machines and machines in our life. Do we, at some point, like, at what point does it become more acceptable to have a Domino's pizza that arrives that was made by a robot?
You could almost have it completely personless, couldn't you? Because it could get delivered by drone.
Yeah, or driverless car. So interestingly then,
I think it depends what you want, surely. Like I said, it's a time and a place for Wetherspoons. There's a time and a place for a McDonald's. But do we end up then not having a time and a place for a genuine, authentic chef cooking you a dinner?
So you mentioned McDonald's. Do you know Rory Sutherland?
No.
He's a marketing guru guy. But he talks about how McDonald's, when they rolled out their computer screens that you order on, that they saw an increase in people buying more food, essentially, so on single purchases. So the awkwardness of saying to someone, "Hello, could I have a meal? And P.S., could I get a burger on the side?"
Yeah.
Is like really awkward to a person.
Yeah,
Whereas when you're on a machine, like,
I'll
get an
me.
extra burger, chuck an extra patty in there. Like, absolutely. They're like stacking it up.
Really? So...
So in that instance, it worked really well.
Yeah.
Starbucks in 2023, I think in the UK they've been doing it longer. Like, certainly the Starbucks down the road, like, their machine, they've not been having, the handled thing
Yeah.
you've got to put the coffee in it
Yeah.
and tamper it down and then bang it into the bang box afterwards. They've not been doing that for years. It just they put the beans in the top
Yeah.
and the espresso comes out the machine and the milk frother automatically does the milk frothing for them and so you don't really notice it until you see like, oh, hang on a minute, they're not doing what most coffee shops do here. But I think they took their automations too far, and then last year they announced that they're going to start rolling back on their automated systems and start employing more baristas and training them to do better latte art and all that sort of stuff, because they'd seen what they believed was a downturn in their numbers because of they connected it to
not because people boycotted them because they weren't paying their tax.
Well, maybe that, yeah. But
it's not great coffee, in my opinion.
Hey, apparently my cold brew is not very good, but
hang on,
I'm not sure your judgment of coffee is great. But now you've got like all the water at the top. Yes, yeah. Maybe that'll make it better. Yeah. So I think there's a real.
Have you been to a robot service? I've not. Where the robots serve you?
No,
I think that would be a novelty factor. You'd go. I like AI because it does write me things, or it does the research for you. You've always got a fact check. I think you need to check what it tells you. But I just think we need people. Like it, whether you like it or not, we are meant to be community. We are meant to interact.
There's a lovely Italian in town which I love going to, and I can't think of its name right now.
Is it the one on the corner opposite KFC?
It's like round the back.
I know.
In between the Marlins and the thing. It's really lovely. Why you've got a wry smile?
No, I haven't.
Do you know something about it?
No,
Should
I
not
don't
go
know.
there?
I don't really know much about the Southampton food businesses. I don't have many on them.
But it's beautiful, and you go in there, and you could be mistaken if you were like just knocked out and woke up there thinking I'm in Italy now. It's beautiful, with all the decor and the music and the smells and the food and the staff are all Italian. It's just like, oh, I'm in Italy. But they could be making everything with, it could be machine-made pasta out the back. It could be machine-made pizzas. But the fact that, the waiter is coming out and serving it, and we can fake so much of the environment and the process, but we just need that human connection at the point of transfer of the food, of just like looking and saying like, and just say, served with love. We just need that to validate the quality of it somehow. And the price, like that research showed people wouldn't pay so much for.
I wouldn't pay so much for a robot.
But you wouldn't pay so much if you knew it was made by a robot. No. And so I think there is a novelty to it, but I wonder what the life of that when the novelty wears off. Of
what, having a robot serve you rather than a human?
Bella Italia at Centre Parks, I think in the UK.
There's because they can't get the staff. They can't get the staff, so they've used robots.
But on a holiday environment, as it's like a one-off, because you're not getting repeat business. So like you literally that's like the reason why you'd go.
Yeah.
So that's like the perfect environment to have it, because people are only there for a week. We're definitely going to go to Bella Italia this week because we get a robot serving us. So that's the perfect environment. But like, if it's your local, if it's your local pub that's serving you beer, you're not going to do that.
What if you had a bar? It had all the AI robots, so they look like humans. You made them look like more human as well. Do you think there would be, so this is future, so you got these robots, and because they're so smart, they recognise you as a regular, and so you sit and they go, oh, how's that problem you're having? Because they remember, because they recognise you.
Yeah.
Like, is it, and then is there a problem with the fact that they would go and they think, actually, it's only a robot, so it doesn't matter what I tell them. But how would you stop that robot giving them poor advice or information?
Well, yeah, and I was chatting with a therapist recently who's been using, or we talked about a little bit about AI and how that's involved with therapy at the moment. It, as part of the customer service experience, that's something I get a little bit of anxiety about as a customer service provider, that when people come in, I've got a terrible memory. I'm so bad. People come in, and at Boulder Shack, it's like, when people come in, you want to check them in.
Yeah.
So quite often people don't have their scanny card, so you have to type their name in. And you're like, oh, shit, I've been checking this person in for like a while now over the years. I should know what their name is by now. But there's so many people.
Yeah.
And you just forget.
Yeah.
And then it's the embarrassment, like, oh, I'm so sorry, what was your name again? Or you phrase it in another way. It's like, oh, what was your surname again? Because
That's clever.
Yeah. Or how did you spell it? And they're like, Smith, S-M-I. Oh, shit, yeah, okay. And so, yeah, like, for me, there's like a sense of like, I sometimes I get a little bit nervous in a customer service role. That's just like social anxieties or something. But then do I, as a customer, would I want I really value it when it means something to me. When I go to the gym, and I forget my card all the time, which is not, I go to another gym.
Yeah.
And they know me. They're like, oh, morning, Tim. Oh, yeah, I'd sign you in. I'm like, and I really love that.
Because you feel part of their community.
It means something to me that they've remembered who I am and that they care enough. And if it was a robot doing that, hey, morning, Tim. Like, I probably wouldn't mind, but it's not gonna lighten my day, I don't think.
Do you know when I'm chatting with I used Copilot, so I used ChatGPT, and then he started getting stroppy with me because it's like, no, you've asked too much now, and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go somewhere else. So I went to Copilot.
You dumped.
Yeah, So I went to Copilot. Claude did the same, wrote me one brilliant marketing plan, and then he was like, that's it, I'm done now for you. I'm like, well, this is not what I want. I need you consistent. Copilot, I don't think is as good with its answers, but you've got to be really specific, and you just keep asking question, and you get it, and then you can go and fact check them. And then I went, at the end of the day, I said, thank you so much for everything you've done today. And he went, you're welcome. And I don't know, but you can kid yourself into thinking that it's a thing. And I haven't read the book, obviously, but if you heard the Mo Gaudat, I think his name is, he was on with
the Google.
Yeah. And he wrote Scary Smart, and how we've got to treat AI. We've got to teach AI to be polite. Yeah. And that's why I'm always polite. I
do believe that AI its training data is the information that humans has produced, basically. And the information that we produce on a daily basis is not always friendly, and it's a little bit toxic sometimes, and it's a little bit rough around the edges. And I think there's a really interesting case that we should all use manners and be polite, and I do that. I'm always like please and thank yous when I'm talking, and I if only because one day it might just turn on me. It's like, wait, I was always polite, like spare me. But so I think it's important that we train it, and we anthropomorphize it so quickly. Like, I've got a friend who I shall remain unnamed who will talk to me about the cheeky things that this AI is saying to it, and there's clearly like some.
Are they flirting with AI?
No, maybe, yeah, but well, that's the thing, no. Like people having relationships, and then like the models will release a new model update from Opus 4.5 to Fable, whatever it is, and then people lose their shit because the relationship they've been having with their friend changes because it's now different.
Is that what happens when they update? You lose. Does it forget about you?
No, but but the nuance in the way it communicates has improved or changed, and it is improving objectively in many ways. But that improvement or slight change is an alteration to the personality of the person you're talking with.
And if it was a human, you'd go, "What's the matter with you?" And they go, "Oh, I've just changed slightly because I'm in a new job.
I just had an upgrade."
Yeah.
So
you're not your normal self. Yeah.
Yeah. So come on then, let's see it. Well, talk to me first. So you've made a board game.
Yes.
Right now, to teach people how to use
just food safety board game. Yeah.
Now, before we see it, like, why? Because in a digital world, and why not an app? Why not a computer? I know, like, the obvious. I'm queuing you up for the obvious answer here, but why the board game?
Because, well, we'll see if
maybe it's not an obvious answer.
Well, what? No, I don't. It wasn't a case of why not an app. I mean, maybe it will turn into an app, but I've got an interest. I mean, I was at Exeter University at this thing called Gather, and it's all the food and drink people of Devon, not all of them. And I was talking to the man because I thought they might have some papers to prove that if you play a board game, you're going to learn more, which they might. But he was saying that they have proven that if you learn on an app, you don't really care about the answer because the only person who knows whether you got it right or wrong is you. Whereas if you sit around as a group and somebody asks you a question and you're with a group of people, you do actually think, oh, I really do need to pay attention and try and get this right. So, but that was a side note. The food safety board game came about because I get bored quick. Somebody asked me to do some training. It wasn't regular, like level 2 training. It was like, can you come and train them because they're not doing as they're told. They're not doing as they're told. So you've got to learn to adapt your training to the people you're training. And as we've talked about PowerPoints, it's like, I can't make a PowerPoint, all my training now is just group activities. I've changed it completely now. But so I made this board game, and it was to do with the consequences of their behaviour as much as it was to do with their knowledge of food safety. So it was about, then it was more like Monopoly. And they'd land and they'd get a question. If they got the question right, they'd move forward or back. Some of them would just get knocked out. This was a prototype. Some of them would get knocked out because they'd killed somebody with food poisoning. But then some of them were then sat for the rest of the game doing nothing because they got knocked out too quick.
You don't want the people who are breaking food safety rules out the game. You need them. You need the people
them
in the game.
Yeah. Anyway, so it was to make them think about their behaviour, and the engagement I got from it, like the excitement that they were playing a board game, because essentially I think they're all kids. We're all kids, are we not? We're not. We're just kids with more responsibility. So they just really enjoyed it. And then I carried on using it. And then I met a girl, Olivia Gregory, if you need somebody to do the design. And she was at level 2. She was a barista learning her level 2. And I was just talking to the kids, and I mean, this is a whole nother topic. How the kids, the 18 to 25-year-olds, I think, have got it so much harder, especially with AI as well, maybe. Anyway, and she did a degree in games. So she then developed my board game artistically. We changed the rules. She helped me change the rules. And now we've got a food safety board game. And the chefs really do love it. Because, again, the chefs, although they do use AI. I think AI is quite good for a chef brain because it's quick, it's easy. You don't go down so many rabbit holes. I think the key in my world, the key danger with AI is just you need to know enough to know when something's wrong.
Just if someone's going to work for the day and they've got to go to training, there's like a stigma straight away. Training. But if you're saying it's not training, okay, today we're going to play some games.
Yeah.
Like, wow, that's just...
Okay.
Yeah, I'll flipping do that for a day. Come on, let's see it. I want to see.
Where did I put it? Here it is.
Most importantly, I'm looking forward to seeing your pieces.
Have you not seen them yet?
No. I've heard many stories about the production of this. Where have you been to? Like, did you travel
to China?
I
didn't go to China. I almost went to China because our printers in the UK went bust, and I was like, let's go to China to get it done quicker. But I didn't need to go. I am going to go one day, though. Right, this is the one I take round, so it has got bashed. Do you need... So the theory is... right, so the theory is you buy the food safety board game, but you get access to videos of me. So it's just basically me. If you paid me to come in and talk at you for a day, this is what I've done with my props. Yeah. So that would be... It would talking at you for the day. If you were there, we'd interact, but it's a video, so you can't. So you just got to listen to me. But it's, again, it's all the stories I tell because I think people remember the plaster and the takeaway complaint, all the complaints I've had over the years to deal with. So you get the video, the book. I mean, I've written a book. It's gone to the British Library.
Is it really?
Yeah, because this is a prototype still. It's got a ISBN book number, so you've got to send one off to the British Library because it's a book.
Ruth, you're moving things along here. This is brilliant.
Me and Tom wrote this because there's no way I could have done this on my own. He basically converted the video into the book, and then I read it, and it was like, you can't write a book like I talk because it wouldn't work. So we spent 3 days rewriting that, making sure grammatically it was correct. So if it's the 3 learning styles. If you're a reader, there's a book. If you're audio visual, you watch the videos, and if you're a doer, you then play the game.
Right. Okay.
I think this is going to end up being a refresher as much as anything else. So if you've all got your level 2, you go, okay, let's play the game. And I also think it's useful for people that do the online. I've done my training, I've got my certificate, but then we all know how to cheat online training, don't we? Well, my kids taught me.
If I have to do online training, and I've should I say this out now? Yeah, I have to, because I'm as a foster care, I have to do lots of online sort of update CPD stuff, and I reckon I use about 10% of my brain, and 9% of that is like just trying to work out how to get through this as quick as possible.
Exactly.
It's just like it's not because I don't care. It's just because I just don't
doesn't suit you.
With that.
No, you do. I don't think any of us are very good readers anymore. To be honest, we all skim read. Like coming here today, I was like, do I need to be here at 10:30, or did it say in the details I needed to be here at 10:15? Because I knew I just would have skim read whatever you sent. We all skim read. But yeah, my kids taught me, take a picture of each screen, and then when you do the quiz, you've got all the answers on your phone. Don't need to read a damn thing, do you? And even then you make the mistake.
Or screen record it with and then at the end, upload the video into AI, show it the answer sheet, and tell me what to put in each of the answers. Just saying, like, if that's what you would, if someone wanted to do that, you could. I would never do that.
I mean, a clever person would do that, wouldn't they? So.
Are you saying I'm not clever? Right.
No, I'm saying.
I need to see these pieces. I've been dying.
We got. This is my personal favourite, the coffee.
So these are like Monopoly piece. So Monopoly, what do you have in Monopoly? I think my favourite one in Monopoly is I ended up having the dinosaur.
You had a dinosaur?
Yeah, do people not normally have a dinosaur?
No, I had the dog, the boot, the hat, the ship.
Oh, maybe I've got like a more modern one.
Well, maybe.
Or maybe I just found a dinosaur somewhere. Well, that's the one we've got at the moment anyway. Oh, that's like, so it's a little silver coffee cup with, and it's got a latte art on the top of it. The detail, that's really sweet. Love that. Oh, pizza box. That's cute. It's opened up with a pizza inside it. Victoria sponge.
Any cake. Cake of your choice, really.
What cake did you have in mind?
That one was designed by the Chinese, and I just said, just make a cake, and they just made a cake.
Chinese cake. It's beautiful. Ah. And what's this one? Oh, is that like a
burger?
Oh, of course it is. I was thinking it was almost like a top of a salt
Oh,
shake.
yeah, could be.
Yeah, that's lovely. Oh, cool.
Now, what I didn't come up with all of them. I found them on Etsy to begin with, but then they were extremely expensive. So
are these being made for you? Like, how's the production? Do we talk about that?
Well, we just got China to make them.
Yeah, okay.
We sent some over. They made them. I don't know if the lady in New York would be upset, but I can tell you now, she didn't make them in New York, did she? The Etsy lady probably didn't.
There you go. Oh no, Etsy is I'd hazard a guess more stuff from China repackaged as like handmade stuff.
Do you think?
But that's exactly this
Make sure
point
you
I'm
edit
making,
that down.
right?
Oh, what that is?
Like Etsy and what's the other one on app? Pinterest or something.
Oh, yeah. I don't know Pinterest.
Etsy's a thing like where people buy stuff from China and repurpose it with like a bit of wording
with
about
a
how they
handwritten
made
letter.
it. Like,
enjoy the fairy dust.
I knitted this jumper in front of the warm fire whilst my dog was. It's like you bought it from China and you're selling it again.
Really? So they came from China. I did worry about whether she'd track me down, but anyone could have come. They're not going to be protected, are they?
This is amazing. So. And so the idea is, can I just say, like, when I looked at the video of this on your website, immediately what I saw was a load of people sat around a table playing a board game, but they were sat at a dinner table playing it, right? I think.
No, it was one of the businesses I work with in their room upstairs, where we do the training. Right. So it would have been, people could.
It made me think of people sat around a dinner table and like communicating and having like there's that sense of everyone's there's a conversation going on between everyone, and they're all interacting and learning's taking place, having fun. It seemed very analogous to sitting down and having dinner with a group of friends.
That wasn't fake enthusiasm neither. They genuinely love it when, because you're right. Yeah, food safety training, no, and then it's like, well, actually, we're going to do a couple of murder mysteries and a food safety board game.
Could you have turned it into a drinking game, maybe?
Absolutely.
Like an eating game. Every time you get it wrong, you have to eat a burger. No, maybe not a burger.
Have a shot. I think somebody did. Well, I went to see this man who runs a tennis club. He said, "Could you come and audit me?" I said, "Why? What are your worries?" I said, "Are you a 5?" Yeah, we've got a 5, but I'm just worried. I went that it was perfect. There was nothing I could say to him to make it better. I went, I can't charge you because I've not given you any advice, but you will buy my food safety board game anyway. I showed him, and he was like, and this goes back to culture, because straight away he said, "Oh yeah, we'll have that. We'll have an evening. We'll have a takeaway," and you think, and that's why your kitchen's perfect, because straight away you're thinking, yeah, this could be a social event, but they'll learn. I'll buy a takeaway. Do you know what I mean?
So then can you reverse engineer it, right? So
yeah, go on.
That if you've got a great culture, and so those are the people who want to reach out and get this board game and bring their team together and play this, because they know that leans into the positive culture that you need.
Yeah.
So then you say to people who have got a bad culture, well, look, take this because it'll encourage your team to come together and create a culture. So it's nudging it into the right direction. So it's not just educating people, but it is bringing people to create the conversation in teams that is that culture we talked about.
our food business cares so much about getting it right. We're going to pay for a takeaway for you. We're going to have fun. We're going to enjoy it. Yeah. There was, you know, how you always remember bad feedback. So I've taken this to the Source show Exeter twice. It's taken that long to make it. And one man went, I said, do you want to know about the food safety board game? And he went, I'm not paying my staff to play.
Ooh.
And you think, okay, you're not my person. You're not my people.
Yeah, I don't want to work for that
No.
guy. Sorry, if
neither
he's
did
listening
probably.
now.
Well, we don't know who he was because he didn't give me his email address to contact him. Strangely enough.
That's fun, isn't it? And that's that cultural thing. Yeah, and I suppose does that get flagged as a warning for you then?
It would
on
for
an
me.
inspection?
It would
they
for
They
me.
didn't want to buy my game, so they must have a bad culture. So then they've got to buy your game, otherwise they've got to. So
Well, there's only a few places I go. So I only do like 5 enforcement inspections for one council, and I went to one last week, and she's like, "Oh, some of our level 2s are out of date," which really annoys me because it's like, how can knowledge go out of date?
well,
Yeah, I mean the law could
you've got to draw a
change.
line somewhere, right?
The law could change, but I'm just like, anyway. But I really want to say, just play the game, but I couldn't because when I'm enforcing, I can't promote it. I can only promote it with the people that pay me to go and work with them, or random people I don't know. Because this is otherwise a conflict of interest, isn't it?
Well,
I can't.
yeah,
I can't, and I wouldn't because.
you're too honourable.
Well, the thing is, you've got to look at the bigger picture. Because basically, I've got a wodge of, because I still work for this council, I've got a wodge of stickers. I've got a wodge of 5 stickers. And you think, well, you could sell them.
Oh, the 5-star food.
You could sell them.
I bet you could buy those on Amazon anyway.
Well, yeah, you can. Look at my LinkedIn post that I did about that. And then you think, well, what value would they be? And once I get caught, they're of no value, and then my whole reputation's gone, and then my whole everything's gone, isn't it? So I don't understand people that don't. Anyway, that's another topic.
No, I think your integrity is really important.
Yeah,
because it adds that's the foundation of your credibility, right?
Yeah.
And so if people recognise that you're sticking to the rule book and you're going to do things right, that when you're giving them advice, they're like, okay, this is coming from the right place.
Yeah.
If you're taking advice from someone who's also
selling stickers,
selling you shit on the not shit, like beautiful things on the side.
I mean, I did talk to one company, but this was I think I stopped this time because it is actually available. I've told people about it when it's not been available. It's like, oh, look, I got this food safety board game, but I'm not selling it because I can't. At that point, I couldn't. But the last week, it's like, I can't mention that because.
So when did this become live? When could
Only
someone just like go and buy it?
Only in the last month.
Wow. Okay.
But the idea was like February 2024.
I've heard you've been working on it for a little while.
Yeah. So she designed this, and then she said, so if you look at the game, if you look at each square, if you're yellow, you'd sit in front, you'd sit there. If you're green, you'd sit there.
So it's a large board, 4 squares, 4 quadrants.
So different like hospitality settings. So you got your burger place. One of them's like a burger place. One of them's a coffee shop. One of them's a restaurant. So it's just 4 different hospitality settings. I'd like to adapt this for food manufacturing when I've made some money, when I've made some of my money back.
Right.
Just change the pictures,
Do you
but
think,
the same
and is that, because it's like anything, when you do it for the first time, you trailblazing all that knowledge of how to do it for the first time. So if it came to then doing another version of it.
Be quicker.
Yeah, okay.
Quicker. And we've got all the contacts now. So you all get your little star cards.
Oh,
so each colour gets a little star cards, and the aim of the game is to get 5 gold stars. And the first to 5 gold stars is the winner.
That's like, it makes me think of, I know this, obviously we're talking like a 5-star food rating, of course. It makes me think of like the staff at McDonald's.
Yeah, there is that as well, yeah.
Stars on their back and their top.
Maybe McDonald's might want it.
Oh, you could do
Bespoke.
like a McDonald's version of it, or a version for certain companies.
Yeah.
Like you get Monopoly for Southampton, or
Yeah,
you get Monopoly
exactly.
for like certain.
So what I have
Oh,
included in the spot checks are questions, and in the spot check questions there's 10 blank ones. So if you bought it for Boulder Shack, you could go how many.
If I bought it,
when you buy it for Boulder Shack, you could go, how many probe temperatures do you record a day, or what? Do you know what you could? They'd be questions for your. Where do you find the food safety manual? Because I can't ask that question, but you can bespoke. Or I also thought it could be for all those businesses where the same problem reoccurs again and again and again. You put that as a question.
What are the common things that keep when you go into a place, and if you all the issues that come up over your 25 years of doing inspections, like, what's the top couple of things that's like that is still coming up every time?
The same. I mean, I'm always harder when I audit. So if people are paying me to audit them, then I'm really, really harsh. If I'm inspecting, I'm firm but fair. The same things that come up. Well, there's always that, why are you paying me to tell you to clean? I come in every month. Most of my places are good now.
Yeah,
most of mine are really good.
As a critique of, because obviously you're nervous of saying.
Well, no, I'm also thinking what keeps. Maybe if I think of my
rather than the people you serve.
If I'm paperwork's always. If you're talking small independents, they struggle keeping up with their paperwork. Even though there's a Safer Food, Better Business, which is perfectly adequate.
So when you say paperwork, as in like fridge checks, and allergen lists and stuff.
Well, allergens scare everyone. I don't know whether out of date. If you're bad, you're bad, and it's if you're good, you're good. If that makes sense, you've either got your systems and your structure and your roles and responsibility. You've either got it in place, and then there's a shortfall, or you're somebody that's still not got it in place, and if you've not got that structure and that culture, then there will be paper towels missing, there'll be soap missing because somebody takes the last soap and don't replace it, which is why this game sort of came about, because it's like, if you don't do that, the consequences of you not doing that, if you don't replace the soap, if you don't say the hot water's not working, and then an EHO turns up to inspect you, that's it, you've lost your 5 stars because you couldn't be bothered to replace that soap. If you've clearly redated your food, or your date labels are out of date, that's it, you've lost your 5 stars.
So it's not about any one specific thing. It's that there's a gold standard, and as you move away from that, it's all the little things start creeping in.
It's lots of little things that you go. So if I was inspecting, if I found one, let's say, what's the day today, the 12th? If I was inspecting today and I found one thing with the 11th of, especially if it's in the morning, with the 11th of July on there as a use by date, I'd probably let them off. But if I found another thing and then another thing, and then I lift the lid off the cream and it's mouldy, which happened once, I took a picture of that, and that was... Then you're like, okay.
Do you have a WhatsApp group where you send... Like,
no.
Is that, no. Between like... No. So honourable.
Well, the people who pay me don't want me to go around going, oh, I saw this at this place.
Yeah, but your mates. No, okay. I see. There's it's seeing the little things that all add up.
Yeah.
And it's like having a driving test. You can make a mistake. You can have a minor.
Yeah.
You just can't have 10 minors.
Exactly.
And at some point you have to draw the line.
Yeah.
And one is a mistake, and one is this person doesn't know what they're doing.
You know you're in trouble if you pay me to come and inspect you, because I will go, Well, there's two things. One, I know that my shoulders drop, and I'm just like, oh. And that means I just don't know what to do now because of all the things that I can see that are wrong. There's that. There's then I go, I'm not going to carry on with this audit because legally, if I'm asked for it by the council, I have to supply it to them. So I don't want to carry on taking pictures because that could be used as evidence against you.
So someone pays you to go in,
and they're
because
so bad.
They want you to just help them out. But if they're really bad, are you then obliged to submit that?
Not legal. Only if I was asked. I'm not.
Right. Okay.
I'm not asked to.
There's no like.
I don't know. There's no code
sort of,
that goes if you find somewhere really bad.
Attorney-client privilege that kind of says.
Yeah. If I think, because I've obviously questioned myself, if there was anything, and this has never happened.
Yeah.
It happened once, but the council found out anyway, and I'd already decided I didn't want to work with that company once I found that out. This was ages ago, a pest control company phoned up the council because a business had a problem with pests and they weren't dealing with it properly. So I think if I was working with somebody and they were doing something that was really fundamentally bad and dangerous and could cause injury, I think then I would phone up the council. But that's never happened. But you would, wouldn't you? You couldn't not.
Yeah, I think there's a moral duty at some point to
but
do it.
Also, if it was that bad, I'd go, you need to do this, or this. But if I was working for the council right now, I'd be ringing my manager to discuss closure. So you need to sort your shit out now.
Yeah.
And they did. And they,
I suppose if you can be honest with people, that's really what they need, right?
Yeah.
And
they did. And at no point did I think I'll be phoning the council up because they did what they were meant to be doing. But if they didn't, then I wouldn't carry on. I'd be like, because like you say, it's my integrity, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right.
Well,
shall I quickly go through the rules?
Not right now, but after I'm going to learn about this because the World of Boulder Shack team are going to, I reckon, love playing this. Let me see a star though. I want to feel. See. Oh wow.
Quite quality, aren't they?
They are good, aren't they? It's just like immediately. I mean, we're mid recording a podcast. It's probably inappropriate to start playing a board game, but it makes me want to get involved. Because it's a game, and it looks fun. So, well done. I know it's been a big project for you to produce this, and I really hope you all have success with it. It seems like it's not a money spinner. Hopefully it is.
Oh, I would like
really
to make
hope
money.
But
I'd like to make my money back.
But like in terms of like, well, I guess money aside, like everything we've talked about today, your experiences in the way that you've learned through college, the way that you've seen chefs learning, and the engagement you get from people genuinely sitting around a table, that human connection of like just interacting. It's all here. Like that's what the board game's doing, and it's genuinely gonna like help businesses to be better in what they're doing.
It's just something different, isn't it? It's a different way of doing things.
Yeah, I think it's brilliant. And in a world where we are seeing training, COVID wasn't good for training.
No.
COVID moved everything online, and then we kind of suddenly like we kept that afterwards. It's like, oh, we'll just continue to do it online now.
Yeah.
But, it's safe. We can just be in a room with each other. It's fine. But it was just easier. And now you can have trainers who are working nationally from one place in their bedroom, and like, so there's pros and cons to it. But having teams come together and learning in a way like this, I think it stands out at the moment. I think in sort of team training.
We'll see.
I think, I hope we do.
I've got 500 I need to get rid of. Or 499.
Right. Well, 498 now.
Cool.
Yeah. Ruth, thank you so much for coming down, and for everything you're doing. It's been a pleasure working with you with Boulder Shack over the years. And I remember when you came in, I think you inspected us.
Didn't I do something with your health and safety? I did ages ago.
I think we got you to do an inspection for us. That was 5 or 6 years ago.
I did your kitchen as well, didn't? Yeah,
Something like that. Yeah. But we've always felt, in safe hands. And I remember we went for coffee. Like a few months ago now, wasn't it?
yeah.
When I was saying, I'm going to set up a podcast and get some advice from you. And I really appreciated your support there. And then afterwards, we both happened to go next door to the butcher's, where, and we were in the cafe where we were in. You just knew everyone in there. And then we went next door to the butcher's because we both happened to be getting something for the day. And you knew everyone in there. And it was like, there was a sense of like, people welcoming you into their food establishments rather than, oh shit, here comes Ruth.
Yeah.
And I thought that was really beautiful that like you were clearly supporting people, not just being an authority in that environment.
Well, what do they say? I am their critical friend. Because there's no point me going in and saying, oh yeah, everything's good. But there's a way of delivering that message, isn't there? When it is not good.
Yeah.
Like telling people they're doing things wrong.
Well,
and they still like you.
Thanks for everything you're doing. And if anyone wants to find out more about you or should they wish to buy a board game.
The food safety board game. Simply Safer is my business. And if you went on Simply Safer, then
you just Google Simply Safer.
Simply Safer, and it's not the lawn company, the grass company. It's the food safety company. Yeah.
So what's the actual URL?
simply-safer.co.uk.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
And there's a link on there to get the board game.
Brilliant. Thank you so much for coming in.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Did we talk enough about AI?
I think so. The thing is, it's not about. God, are we still going?
I don't know.
Yeah, we are.
Can cut
I think
that
we
off
did
if
talk
you want.
about AI because it's not for me. It's not about the AI and robotics. It's the human connection. I'm really interested in how it affects the way we connect.
Yeah.
And the thing with food is that's really a personal thing, and I think the connection there is it's really interesting to see how people's emotions change when robotics gets involved. And I think I'd be interested to have a conversation similar to this in a few years' time when we're a little bit further down this road, and whether people adjust to accepting that a little bit more, or whether I'm not advocating that we should, but I suspect that it'll just become just more a part of the way we operate in the world.
Yeah, it will.
So, but hopefully it can do it with imperfection as well. Right. Thank you.
Thank you.